It's on. No. It's live.
It's live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this Google Hangout. It's our kickoff for the Championship 2015. And we really appreciate your interest and applications and participation in this program. Today, the purpose is really for you to learn about what we are doing and what the expectations are over the next 4 weeks. And after the 4 weeks, we will make a selection of the top champions participating in this rally in the next month. And we are very excited. We got over 600 applications from all over the world. And just to say that in the first 2013 championship, we had most of our applicants from Europe and the US, as well as in some other regions. So I have seen that there's a lot from Asia Pacific, Africa, Latin America, Arab states, and of course, US and Europe are still hanging on to us. So I appreciate all of you and your participation. I hope that you will share your feedback as we go. We will have a look at the comment box. So please insert your questions as we go, and then we will look at them at the end. But here today, it's myself, Anna Felt. I'm the manager of empowerwomen.org.
Eduardo, I am the knowledge management specialist for the empowerwomen.org.
And I am Diana. I am communication and knowledge management consultant.
So thank you so much. We also will be joined by our colleagues in the field. We will talk a little bit more about them and introduce you to them. They will be your first-hand focal points for any interaction with us. Of course, we are always here to support, but for you out in the regions, we are based in New York, and anyone, of course, here in the US, as well as in Western Europe, will be in touch with us. But for the rest of the world, we have our regional coordinators who are your main focal points. So we have put together a few slides, and we would like to run them through, and then at the end, you will have a chance to ask your questions. So today we'll start with just introducing ourselves. Who is and what is empowerwomen.org? We will talk a little bit about how we see women's economic empowerment. We will talk a little bit more in details about the Champion program, but in particular what's expected at this first month. And then after we have selected the top champions from this month, we will go into more details further down the line what the rest of the period require, which will be personal projects. It will be other activities than it is the first month. And then go in a little bit about the rally itself. So before we go in any further, we would like to show, and you might already have seen it, but we'd like to show you our video that kind of gives a perspective of what we do in a nutshell and the vision of what we are all about. I think I need to. Okay. Can you check any of this?
And play full screen because it's another screen. It's not sure.
No, but I showed the screen. So that was our video, and as you might have seen, it has changed a little bit over time. This video we did for the launch of empowerwomen.org in September 2013, and we keep on evolving. So soon you will also see some new design on the platform and maybe even new logos. So we are evolving, and we are evolving with the feedback from our champions, from our users, our partners, and everyone. So we listen to you, and your points of views, your thoughts, your ideas, suggestions are always welcome. Let me introduce you to the team. So it's myself, Anna Felt, and here at HQ we have 3 colleagues, Eduardo, Diana, and Diana again. We have 2 Dianas. And in the field, as you will hear from in a little bit, we hope they'll join us on this Google Hangout, is Emad, based in Cairo, Jack in Nairobi, Sandra in Panama, Siriporn in Bangkok, and Yebe in Dakar. And we hope we'll be joined by them in a little bit. As I also mentioned, we have a number of partners, and what we set out in September 2013 when we were launched was to really bring the whole UN system together, all the different agencies that are working on some aspect of women's economic empowerment, such as ILO, that is working on women's decent work agenda, UNIDO, that is working with women entrepreneurs and the green economy and sustainable agenda, UNCTAD is working on investment, entrepreneurship, etc. So we have brought them on board. We also have many other partners that have come along over time. YAFA is a network of feminist economists. We have Women's World Banking that are working with women's access to finance. We have Microsoft, and we have the Equal Future Partnership is a US government initiative to get more governments involved in women's economic empowerment. But most important is the government of Canada, who is sponsoring this whole initiative. So we're very grateful to them for that. But you can explore some of our partners on empowerwomen.org/partners, where you will learn more about what all these organizations are doing for women's economic empowerment. The way we look at women's economic empowerment, there are lots of definitions out there, but at the bottom line, we want women to have equal rights, we want them to have equal opportunities, and we want them to have a voice and agency to participate actively in economic decision making. And from UN Women's perspective, we are looking at it from a continuum of work, starting from the unpaid work to unpaid care work. Unpaid care work is how we talk about the work that is done within the household, within the family, that is not paid for, but needs to happen, such as cooking, cleaning, and in some countries, cooking and cleaning involves walking many hours to fetch water and firewood to keep the food warm, and to cook the food and keep it warm. So it is the number of hours that are spent on those unpaid care work activities are enormous in some. In others that are helped with certain technologies, it's a little bit less. But this is an important part of our UN Women's agenda. And at the end, the other end of the continuum is the employment and decent work. We also work on women's access to productive assets, whether it's land, whether it's finance, whether it is housing, so access to resources that can make them more productive as workers, as entrepreneurs, as farmers, as decision makers, etc. And as you will see in the empowerwomen.org's library, if you haven't already been there, I suggest that you have a look at the 9 areas that we identified. These were 9 areas that we had long discussions with our partners before we launched on what are the most critical areas for women's economic empowerment and how do we actually categorize them. So you might wonder, why is agriculture the only sector that is being shown here? And that was the reason, because there is a majority of women in agriculture, in particular in developing countries, but also because it is it's a huge sector that little attention is given to when it comes to women's access to land, women's access to agricultural tools, etc., to be productive in agriculture. So many of our partners wanted that to be a standalone area. And when you look also, for example, at sustaining energy and the environment, we look at that area very much linked to women's unpaid work agenda that I was just talking about. If you don't have the infrastructure in place for energy and water, etc., it's covered here. Sanitation is covered here. And even though conceptually not fully correct, we also have climate change in here. Climate change addresses and touches everything that we do. So it could be even an overarching topic, but basically it's the more environmental elements linked to the economy that are in this category. But otherwise, we look at employment, we look at workplace, entrepreneurship, and of course, women's leadership. And then the last one is measuring for accountability. And this is a new, it's put new focus on this area in the discussion on the Sustainable Development Goals. If you are not familiar with the Sustainable Development Goals, this is the new agenda that is about to replace the Millennium Development Goals that were adopted in 2000. So this year, in 2015, there will be a new set of goals. And what is critical for this is that we have indicators and data that are really disaggregated by sex, but that are really focusing on women's issues. So this is also on UN Women's agenda to really make a difference and make sure that this time around we have good indicators to measure success for women, women's empowerment and gender equality more broadly. So I'm leaving it to Eduardo to go in a little bit more about the different components that we have on empowerwomen.org and what we do and some different activities. So Eduardo?
Yeah, welcome everybody. It's pretty nice to have this huge number of people like engaged in being champions and in this, let's say, starting of the Rally Month that we'll talk later in the presentation and the selection process. So I'm really pleased with that. Before I start talk about the main components, just like two things that I think it's worth mentioning. One thing is that as UN Women and Women's Economic Empowerment, we do have a universal mandate. So it's clear for everybody that gender equality and women's economic empowerment issues are not just things that happen in some countries, but it happens in all countries, unfortunately. So it's not just issues that you have in developing countries, but you also have in developed countries as well. So as you see, and you see in the platform, you have like examples of what's happening and ways or solutions to things from all different countries. So it's really important that, and I could see in the applications that we have people from pretty much every country in the world, and that makes totally sense for us. I think you see some of the champions in the past, they come from Canada, US, India, Pakistan, Nepal, and they made a difference in their own communities, and that's the key thing for us. It's something that needs to happen everywhere in all countries. The second point is we also need to have the men engaged. We cannot change the situation without having the men engaged and mobilized. So it's we also had in the past, and we also have now, some men that have applied to be champions, and we are really pleased with that, because that's exactly what we want to as well. So it's a really important conversation that we have. It's a really important agent of change for us as well. So it's kind of I can see from the applications that we do have all these things covered, and that's pretty nice. So welcome everybody, and to talk about the main components. I don't like to say components, but they are really kind of resources that you have and that you can contribute to. So it's a two-way. For everything that you have here, it's a two-way. So you can draw from it, but you can also share. So the first thing is the library, where you have like thousands of resources. And when I say resources, I mean publications, toolkits, articles, everything that you want to find out about women's economic empowerment and related areas, you can find it here. But not just find, you will also learn that you can share there. So if you find a publication that's relevant to the community, you as a member can share that publication with everyone. So that's the library, and the library is organized in a way that covers all the topics that Anna has mentioned previously in the previous slide. Then you have a new resource, or a new feature, that's the Multimedia Center. The Multimedia Center is where you can find photos and stories, like short stories, brief stories of people supporting women's economic empowerment. And we started this week a campaign, I Am Women campaign, that you have received in the newsletter, probably, if you have signed up for that. So it's a new campaign, and we are asking everyone to submit stories of women, empowered women. It may be a man talking about a woman that has inspired him. It may be yourself as a woman and as an empowered woman. It may be someone in your family that helped you to get empowered. So that's the sort of stories you find there. It's worth going, and more than that, as I said, it's a two-way conversation. So we want you also to share your story there and to share the photos. And we'll get to that point when we talk about activities during the rally period. But that's the Multimedia Center. And in the Multimedia Center, this is the first campaign. This is a one-year campaign, but we'll have more campaigns coming soon. So keep posted. The third one is what we call network. Network is basically everyone that joins empowerwomen.org will when you create your login details, you create a profile, and in your profile you can add a picture, and you can like go deep and say things you like, etc. And that's the place where you find other people that are like-minded people. So that's a place you can navigate and find people and see people, and you can filter by interest, etc. So it's really interesting. We are still developing some capabilities on the network, so we can like connect people to people. At the moment we can't, unless people share their emails in there. But we are increasing, and that's the next step. In Anna told that we are always evolving, and that's the next step in the platform, is to make that more social and enable the network to really be a continuous building network of people and peers. And then you have the circles. The circles is where you find a space to share questions about women's economic empowerment, see what people are discussing about women's economic empowerment, see some of the expert-led discussions. So we sometimes do joint online discussions with our partners and other organizations as well on themes related to women's economic empowerment. It can be like women in environment and the implications for her empowerment. It can be about women in the value chain and how we can make value chains more inclusive of women. It can be about women in finance. And then we invite like different organizations like banks, etc., to talk about new opportunities for women in banking. And so it's all in there. And we try to have pretty much every month, but sometimes every other month, online discussion on a topic that's relevant to the whole community. So you find everything in there. You can explore that later. The other thing is the Learning Center. And the Learning Center is where you find learning resources, as the name says. And you find online free courses there. You find some learning materials that you can replicate or you can learn from that. You find some toolkits or guidelines for certain things. For instance, for preparing a business plan or for developing some computer skills or developing some entrepreneurship skills. And we are also working, as Anna said very right at the very beginning, it's always evolving. We are now working on preparing some online training on different topics. And one is employment rights, and the other one is on preparing a CV and getting prepared to an interview. And we also have some on leadership skills. And we are working at the moment on this series. And that may become available during your championship or even during the next like 5-6 months, I think. And we always partner with like other organizations as well. For instance, we partner with Cherry Blair and Foundation, and they have a mentoring program, and applicants from Empower Women have kind of a fast track in their mentoring program. So it's interesting. From time to time, they pick some of our members as part of their mentoring program when they open the cycle. So it's really interesting, and we are increasing that type of partnership. And then you have another feature that is the Business Hub. The Business Hub is where you find collectives of women. So you can find cooperatives and etc. Women's networks, and you can also find organizations that are that work for gender equality and women's economic empowerment in some degrees, especially if they are contributing to it actively. So, and they are showcased there, and we are starting to share some good practices and start to building up on this network of business as well. And we also have supporting business institutions as well. Another component is, that's really interesting, is the blog. The blog is about sharing stories of women entrepreneurs or innovative ways for women's economic empowerment from different countries in the world. And it's really interesting. It's like just a short story. It's 500 words, and you see they are very inspiring. And the idea is that people can resonate with that story, and they can see how they can apply some of the learnings and some of the good practices in their own communities and in their own lives. And that have been very inspirational for everyone, I think. And that's one of the things that we launched recently and have made a lot of, and we got a lot of enthusiastic people behind it. So I think you will enjoy it as well. Apart from that, we do have also one feature that's not showing on the platform itself, but it's on mobile phones, on feature phones, and that's called iLearn, and that's a partnership with Facebook, where and the telecom operators in different countries, where we are launch free access to internet content, and we are and Empower Women is providing this iLearn module, where we also have stories of entrepreneurs, successful stories that people can resonate with, and they can learn from that, and they can understand their path, how they got there, and what made they be and achieve the success that they achieved. So it's a really interesting feature as well, and we just launched in Colombia. And we also had some launches in South Africa and in India as well. So and we are partnering with Facebook for like launches in other countries across the world. So you should keep posted on that as well. So that is in kind of a nutshell. It's more than that, obviously, but you have like plenty of opportunities to explore the platform. So I don't want to spend more time talking, and you have like a lot of time navigating and exploring that. So we can move down to the ways of engagement. I think we can skip this one that I talked, but how you can get engaged. So as I told you, we have expert-led discussions, and we have like webinars, and we have Google Hangouts like this one, but on specific women's economic empowerment topics. So you can watch them, you can comment on expert-led discussions. Though they are expert-led discussions, they welcome contributions from everyone, and that's the wealth of all these discussions. It is really to get to know what's going on in your community, what are some of the good practices you have seen, and share with this network of experts so they can like continue to develop new approach, new solutions, etc., to some of the burning issues that you have. You also have a space where you can comment and recommend things on policy reforms that can be more gender responsive, more gender inclusive. So something that your country is doing, for instance, some countries are applying some gender responsive policies for public procurement, so increasing the number of public procurements for women's owned organizations. And then you can share that, you can share some of the things that went right, some of the things that went wrong, and how they could be improved, etc. You have plenty of opportunities for that as well. So you also can engage on learning activities. As I said, there is the Learning Center, and more we get more learning opportunities for you all. And you also have the multimedia campaigns, and I talk about I Am Women, so have a look on that one. And you see more and more. So I think the ways to engage are endless. It's really up to you and your willingness and the time you can commit, and you find like several ways. In the past, for instance, one of the champions decided to develop kind of a contest among. She was a teacher, and she decided to start a contest with like her students, and to draw for women's economic empowerment. That was very powerful in her community. And then her experience became a blog post in our platform, and that like got like kind of viral in our community, and it's in social media. And you know, it's just like a small thing that she did in her community and that made a difference in there. It's now in the platform, and other people are replicating. So it's as powerful as that. So I think we can move on, and just to So that's in a nutshell. It's what the platform is all about, and also we are trying to see the not as a platform anymore, but more as a movement and as a space where you as an individual can do great things for women's economic empowerment and learn great things about it. And also as a collective, we can make a difference globally. So that's the thing that we are talking moving forward. So I think it's a really nice time that you are engaging with the platform as we are in this moment of getting bigger and bigger, I think. So about the championship program itself, we had a first group of champions and that was when initiated a few years ago. And we got like 29 champions, different activities over the period of 6 months, the 1 month rally plus the 5 month championship. And they work kind of in groups and representing, let's say, policymakers, farmers. We split them. They were not policymakers, they were not farmers, but they were like incorporating and putting them on the shoes of that people and see how they could attract that people, what would like make them engage in the platform. And that was at the very beginning, and that was very important for us to understand the different groups. The second call for champion, we got 44 champions from 6 regions, and they also did a lot. And IOM Women Campaign, for instance, it's one of the activities that they worked as a group, that a small group of champions worked on it. And now it come live, and now we just launched. And so you see how powerful your contributions can be. Also, that activities that I told about the school is also in there in the last championship. So it's all happening, and there are several other examples. So it's really interesting to see what you will come up with. So that, and the third round is, I think, a really it's the time to see how we can get more of these activities and spread more the word and engage more people. And we are increasingly trying to engage the youth. So I think it's a nice opportunity as a champion to help us to get ideas of how we can get more youth engaged in some of these activities and create some activities to the youth as well. And also we grew a lot from when we started. So we now have 4,000 registered members, and we have more than 110,000 unique visitors. So it's a great number. It's really growing, and our target now is to get to the wider public. So it's really to increase the thousands unique visitors to, let's say, why not say 1 million, and to get the registered members to be 4,000, to get to 15,000. So that's the kind of things that we want to see moving forward. So and your contributions will be much appreciated. So on the next slides, we'll go to the things that I think you are waiting for it. It's how you can get engaged and how the rally works. So first thing that I'd like to share is that the rally work through pretty much a month. We have the Commission of Status of Women is starting on the 9th of March, and that's you may know, you may not, but the Commission of Stats of the CSW that we call them, Commission of Stats on the Status of Women, it's a key, let's say, moment for the UN and all the let's say nations in terms of gender equality and women's empowerment. Is the place where they discuss and they agree on some of the actions that they can take to make everything like the economy and the politics and every aspect of a women's life more empowered in that sense. So the nations come here to make some commitments, to agree on some of the activities they can do. They come here to review some of the commitments they made in the past. When I say here, they come here physically to New York to discuss that. And then they come back to their countries and they try to implement some of the things that they committed to. So that's an important, let's say, moment for us. And this year it's more important because it has been 20 years since the Beijing Declaration and Platform for Action, where, let's say, everything started for these nations, where they come together and they put the women's agenda first, and they decided to focus on the different areas, and they decided to commit themselves to make change in all societies. So it's the 20th anniversary this year, so it's a time to celebrate the progress. It's also time to review some of the issues and the challenges, and to come up with some new ideas. So so we would like to have you during the rally period kind of raising awareness of all these things and get engaged in all the discussions. And when we get to the CSW on the 9th, we have like kind of finalized the rally, and it started the championship, and you have the championship to communicate to all the nations. So I think it's interesting timing that you come on board on this rally. So there will be a lot of things to do over this 3.5 weeks probably, or maybe 4 up to the 9th. The first thing I would say is to engage in the online discussions that we have at the moment. So we have one in inclusive market system development. It's a collaboration with USAID. And I think they are willing to get comments from everyone, from every country on that thing. You can watch the webinar. There is a recording there, and you can watch it and to start to think about ways you can contribute to with some comments. You see that there are some technical comments. You don't need to be technical. And they don't really want you to contribute technical comments. They really want you to contribute some of the examples you can give from your community of things that work in your market, and that can leverage on that stories as well. So I think it's really important to get your voice heard there as well. So there's another one on justice. You see, we'll share the presentation with the links, but if you go to the platform, you also see all this happening. And there is also a space for open ideas and questions about women's economic empowerment, where you can post questions or you can comment on questions that others have posed. So you can also engage in there as well, and we expect you to engage on there. You also are asked to participate in the I Am Women campaign by sharing your own photo and story about empowerment. So go there, have a look of what we have there, see if you get inspired, and share with us your photo and story. That's a way to contribute as well. We also have the We Inspire blog, so we'd like you to, and Diana can talk about it more because Diana is leading this aspect of the platform, and also on social media and other stuff. So Dana, you can come in and talk.
You want to just switch?
Greetings all. I know you are already probably very, overwhelmed with all this amount of information, but you will, as you will understand more and you will get, you'll get there, you will access empowerment at work, you'll see that it's actually so fun to be engaged with all these components. And you will find yourself in a situation that every day you'll want to come to access the platform and to find out what's new. What should I do? What should I contribute? How can I inspire others to follow what I do and to promote women economic empowerment? I would like to maybe mention that here at headquarters and in the region, we are very passionate about what we do and we love our work. This is why we had a great cooperation in the past with our first round of champions and second round of champions, and we are confident that this cooperation will be as successful as it was prior. I will talk a little bit first about social media, because while we speak via, with you every day via Empowerment at Work, we also try to engage with each our members and friends via social media as well. It's like a mirror of our work, because we communicate with you, with all our followers and friends and members from different social media channels, what we do, what is our plans in the future. For example, let's say we are organizing a discussion next week, and let's say this will be on importance of social media in advocating women economic empowerment. With 1 week in advance, we will announce all our community via social media channels, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Google+, that we will have soon this activity. And all of you follow us every day and you access the platform, or you maybe forgot to do that, you will still find this information and you'll be able to catch up because you are active members on Twitter or on Facebook. We also, while the e-discussion is opened and the members and friends and the experts contribute their comments, we are trying to capture all the interesting or all the highlights in 140 characters specific for social media language, and to share with you all our impressions and all our work and everything what's happening at the moment. So all the updates, all the information, everything you can find on social media as well. In general, we are trying to be present and active via all our channels, but we noticed that our members and followers engage with us more via Twitter, Facebook, and recently Instagram. So we are especially active via these 3 channels of communication. And we would invite you to be our friends, not only on Empowerment at Work, but also via Twitter. You can find us at @EmpowerWomen and Facebook EmpWomen. Share the news that we are communicating, retweet, reply, tag your friends, tag your network. Every action is important in order to advocate women economic empowerment. And as we do this every day, our purpose, our goal will be closer to achievement with each of it. I will also wanted to say that we are very active via Twitter chats and Twitter phones, and a lot of times these initiatives are coming from our champions. So if you have an idea in organizing, in your community, in country, region, a Twitter chat or a Twitter phone on a specific topic, please communicate us, approach us, and we will gladly facilitate this event, and we will have organizing and maybe guideline on all these issues, how to do this best to be a successful event. In terms of We Inspire blog and iLearn and opportunities and feature publications and resources or research, I would like to emphasize that we also feature this on social media. For example, as Eduardo mentioned, we have our wonderful We Inspire blog, and it's not actually just a coincidence that it's called We Inspired. It's because we really love inspirational stories, and we really think that, through the storytelling, you can learn and you can share your experience in the best and in the easiest way. So, for example, we have, let's say randomly, we have one story from Joyce, Uganda, and she's starting her story in a simple way. Pumpkins saved my life. And while reading this story, you'll understand that it's actually meaningful, and it's not just a simple, statement, because starting her small business, she leveraged it using every seed, leaf, everything from pumpkin to develop its business. She has everything from jam to wine. So it's an inspiring story, and we just cannot leave it and not feature it, because it has so many lessons to learn and to inspire and to leverage throughout the community. So what we do is we have every day we share a post via Facebook and Twitter about the story, and in this way we showcase beautiful and inspirational women, men, everyone who work hard and who think about or work upon women economic empowerment. As Eduardo mentioned, we recently launched our iLearn Spanish in Colombia, and on Monday we just also, even more recently, we launched iLearn Hindi via Internet at Work cooperation. So stay tuned. iLearn is coming in Swahili, French and Arabic, and it's a particularly important program for us because it's not only a simple global mobile learning platform, but it reaches the people who don't have access to internet, who don't have access to social media, who don't have access of this, innovative way of communication, but they still want to know, they still want to learn, they still want to engage, and most importantly, to be successful in what they do. And if we, via our work, can help them, can contribute in successful growing, and it's just a pleasure. It's just a pleasure. So we are looking forward to work with you via empowerment work, and of course I'm waiting all of you via our social to engage via our social channels, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram.
Thanks, Diana. And I just have a few more things that we had on that list of the rally. And I also like to clarify how the rally works and the selection process from here, the next steps. So on the rally, I didn't mention, but we would expect you to contribute 5 new resources to the Knowledge Library. And mobilize at least 10 people to become members of Empower Women. So I think that's one of the things, some of the things that I'd like you to do, and also actively participate in any online activities that we are organizing. So it includes the webinars, Google Hangouts, Twitter chats, etc. Even create them as Diana suggested. Propose some of them, and then we can like make that happen. So just like on the selection process. So here we are talking to all of you, and all of you are you have applied, and because of your interest, you are like kind of in this first step of the selection process, participating in the orientation session. But now we have like a month, and this Rally month, it's the time where you are expected to demonstrate your commitment and willingness to make part of the championship program. So we'll be assessing you, we'll be like evaluating your engagement. That's something we need to do. And because we did have a huge number of people applying, so we are talking about like more than 600 people applying. And we are just a few. So yeah, I will introduce you to, later we will introduce you to the regional coordinators, but we are just a few. We are here 4 in the headquarters, and we have like 5 regional coordinators, and that's it. So we do need to have like a number of people that we can work closely, because we want to give that kind of support to the ones that are our champions for that period of time. So it's really important now in this next month that you demonstrate your commitment and willingness to be a champion. And that means that you go through all these lists and that you really start engaging in each one of these activities. And we can measure that. So behind the scenes, we'll be tracking your activities. So on your profile, when you go there, there is what we call activity stream. It's like on Facebook, you have your activity stream. Here you also have one. And there we'll show like the publications that you contributed, the comments that you contributed to our discussions, etc. The questions that you put on the circles, etc. So we'll track that all. Diana will also work in the social media accounts that we have and track how many messages you have retweeted in your own accounts, how many messages you have like mentioned us in your accounts, like @EmpowerWomen, etc. How many times you have used the hashtag that you usually use, the hashtag #EmpowerWomen. So all these sort of things will be like tracking on our side and behind the scenes. So when we get to the end of the rally, the end of this first month, we'll shortlist a number of people that will then become the champions. Last time we had about 10 champions per region. So we are talking now about 6 regions. We in the headquarters, we take care of the North American and Western Europe. But we do have like the other 5 regions, like the Latin America, the 2 Africas, Western and Eastern and Central, etc. Asia and the Pacific, and so we have all this network across Eastern Europe, etc. So we have all these networks, and what we want is to have a number that is kind of feasible for us as well. So we agree between us that between 10 and 20 per region would be a good number. So, and that will be, and and we will select based on your performance, let's say over this month, on your level of engagement. So that is what we will do. So when we get to the 9th of March, we will announce the short list for the championship, the 5-month championship program. So it's really now up to all of us to work together and to make it happen. Just on a note side, the platform will be translated to a few languages in the next months. Arabic is one of the languages, and will be the first one to be launched. Then we have Spanish and French on the way as well. So probably not during the rally time, but as soon as the championship starts with the selected champions, probably you have the platform in one or more of these languages available already. So it's also interesting, and you'll be able even more to participate in your own language, and that's what we intend to do. But for now, you have the support of our regional coordinators, and that will be like in touch with you, and that will be your focal point in your region, and you can talk to them and clarify some of the points, and will be like your easy communication moving forward. So I would like to, Anna, you have some more comments before we welcome?
Yeah, no, I think you covered it all. We have a lot of comments in the Q&A box already, but we have 2 colleagues with us from the regions. So let me introduce, and we thought that Eduardo was saying that the platform will be coming in other languages. So we want to also have an opportunity. We know that English is not the first language of everyone. So we will ask Sandra to introduce herself first, a little bit in English, and then in Spanish for the audience who prefer Spanish language. And then we have Emad from Cairo, who will be doing the same thing in Arabic. So Sandra, can you start, please?
Thank you, Anna. Thank you, Eduardo. Thank you, Diana. And thank you all for being here with us. This is a very important meeting for us to touch base with you and get started. My name is Sandra Lombardo. I am Panamanian of origin. My studies are majorly in international affairs and business administration. I have a lot of experience in international affairs in the areas of development, humanitarian affairs, knowledge management, strategic partnerships. I have grown a lot with this job at UN Women through the Knowledge Gateway. It is a great opportunity to advocate, to advance women's economic empowerment. It's a fun job, like Diana said. We are involved a lot in social media networks. I particularly like it. And I will be your guidance, coordinating with the New York office and the regions, all the global actions and the regional actions. So I would like to hear from you, and now I will be changing into Spanish. Me gustaría saber sus nombres, de qué países vienen, dónde nacieron, cuál es su contexto cultural y qué los motivó a ser parte de esta iniciativa de Global Champions para Knowledge Gateway. Y bueno, estoy muy dispuesta a trabajar con ustedes. En mí tienen un apoyo, tienen la puerta abierta para consultas, sugerencias, etc. Mi perspectiva de trabajo con ustedes es totalmente en equipo. Me complace muchísimo que hayamos tenido tantos candidatos de calidad para juntarse a esta causa. Así que les cedo el micrófono para que se presenten e irnos conociendo. Más adelante podríamos hablar de nuestro plan de trabajo conjunto. pero esta es una primera reunión para tocar base y conocernos un poco. Así que me gustaría escuchar de ustedes.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you so much. And Sandra and others are very excited about getting engaged with you. Sandra worked very closely with some of the champions in the last round. And the example that Eduardo was talking about, I Draw to Empower Women, came as a result of a project of a champion that Sandra was working with. I would just like to say before we move on to Emad that there has been questions about the presentation. We will circulate it afterwards, and we will translate the particular page where we ask you what kinds of activities we're asking you to do. But the rest of it will be in English, and just be patient with us. The language versions are coming soon. And I also see that somebody was offering to help with Arabic translation. We are actually quite advanced on that, but Emad, I think that's a great offer for anything, maybe for iLearn or anything else in the future. We appreciate very much all of your support. So Sandra, if you can mute and we move on to Cairo.
Sure. Just 1 second.
Thank you. Emad.
Yeah, I think I need to.
Hi everyone, it's me, I'm at Kareem. Greetings from Cairo. I guess you can hear the honking. It's a little bit quiet for now, but it's a very vibrant city, and we're really looking forward to have you with us. For us, Global Community Champions is one of the fun and awesome and inspiring parts of our work, so we're really looking forward to have you all with us. Before I switch into Arabic, I'm also saying this for the rest of the champions that is not in the 22 Arab countries, that if you have a special interest in the Arab states, please also reach out to us. We'll be also happy to help out, to provide you some information about the region or about the status of women if you have a special interest in the region. And now, if I'm excused to switch into Arabic, أهلا وسهلا بكل الشباب والشابات والكبار اللي معانا في فرصة المناصرين العالميين لبوابة المعرفة. شرف كبير لينا إن احنا نلاقي كم كبير من الشباب العربي مستمتع وقدم وعايز يشتغل علشان التنمية الاقتصادية وتنمية المرأة في المنطقة. وحاجه مبهره ان احنا نشوف برضو شباب واولاد برضو عايزين يساعدوا في ده، فدي حاجه مبهره، فمشرفينا دايما في كل مكان. احنا هنا من مكتب القاهره بنغطي في المكتب الاقليمي بنغطي ال 22 دوله عربيه من شمال افريقيا ومن الخليج وسوريا ولبنان وفلسطين وكل الدول اللي بتتكلم باللغة العربية، وكمان بنغطي الأقليات اللي ما بتتكلمش اللغة العربية وموجودة في المنطقة. فنتمنى أن انتوا تتواصلوا معنا مباشرة. هيبقى قريب هيبقى في النسخة العربية لبوابة المعرفة، فاصبروا معنا كمان شهر هنعمل الافتتاح، ويهمنا أكتر أن انتوا تكونوا موجودين تدونا آرائكم على المحتوى، على التصميمات، على أنواع المعرفة، على التدريبات، الأنشطة اللي أنتم محتاجينها. لو عندكم أفكار في بقية الدول التانية كمان نقدر نشارك فيها لمكاتب الأمم المتحدة الموجودة في دولكم. ونتمنى تكونوا موجودين في ترتيبات لليوم العالمي للمرأة اللي هو جاي في يوم 8 مارس. هيبقى فيه أنشطة كتيرة هنبتدي نعلن عنها على صفحة الفيسبوك وتويتر بتوعنا. فأهلا وسهلا بيكم. احنا طبعا very excited ان نتقابل معاكم قريب، ولو موجودين في القاهرة تعالوا زورونا في المكتب، او لما نكون هنزوركم في الدول العربية التانية هنقول لكم ونتقابل ونشرب شاي ونتكلم اكتر في التنمية. That's it. Okay, it's back to you guys.
Great. I heard the word work a few times, so I appreciate that. It was not all about having fun.
Actually, I offered them tea.
Oh yeah, it's a lovely tea with lots of sugar.
Yes.
I also wanted to mention some people we had a little bit of technical issues with the video, and we have the video that we played on the screen on empowerwomen.org. If you go to the very right side, you can see the an orange map with lots of women on it. We have also translated this video into Spanish, Arabic, French, and Chinese, and I think Russian is coming soon. So we are also expanding the material into other languages. And I think that once you get going, Emad and Sandra, in your regions, you can also share those versions, because it is really who we are about, even though a lot of things are changing as we go. The vision is the same. The vision is really to connect people together and to work very closely together for the sake of women's economic empowerment. I'm looking also, I see there's a lot of excitement in the comments, and how can I start right away? I think the first, if you haven't registered, create your profile, make yourself visible as an advocate, as somebody passionate about the issue on empowerwomen.org. If you don't have a Twitter or Facebook account, I think these are a very good opportunity now to get those accounts and get your profile out there as somebody passionate. And just to mention from previous champion rounds, many of our most active champions have been motivated either from personal issues in their communities, or they have seen it also as a way to get visibility for their work, either as an activist for women's economic empowerment already, or somebody who wants to switch from, let's say, finance or from other areas into working more in this area on women's economic empowerment. And this has been very successful for them in their own careers and their own paths to actually get this visibility. So we see that also for you, an opportunity to create your profiles. And I do apologize, we've had a lot of technical issues with registration and password in the last 2 days, but it has been resolved this morning, and please bear with us. Try it again, and if you are among those who have emailed us and indicated that you had some technical issues, it has been resolved, and let us know if there's anything else. So I see somebody has contributed in French. Unfortunately, due to some internet connections, our colleague in Dakar could not join us today. But I really hope that she will be connecting with you in the region for West and Central Africa, is where UN Women covers the Francophone, and as well as any other French-speaking country like Haiti and France, parts of Canada. So anything Francophone goes to our colleague in Dakar. So thank you so much for that comment in French. We will do our best to connect you with Yebe in Dakar. So anyone else that would like to add something? I'm looking through if there are any other questions that we missed. Please, this is the time to ask your questions. And did you have anything else to add? We are very, very excited about working with you. We see this as great collaboration for the next 6 months, the rally months. And even if you feel that you don't have time to spend to be a top champion, you can still be part of our community. You can still be part of the work that we do. So don't see it as being selected or not selected. And also we have very excited champions from the previous rounds. And some of them have actually offered to be mentors. So if you have difficulties understanding what am I now supposed to do, things are not clear, we are of course always your first focal points, the first people to get in touch with. But maybe you want to speak with somebody who was a champion before. What did they do? and how we are happy to put you in touch with the previous champions. And I think that further down the line, we might have a session specifically with those mentor champions where they can tell you a little bit more what they did and how they went about certain things. Okay, so somebody is curious to know, from the 600 plus applicants, how many of them were men?
I can share.
Do you have it offhand, or you will share it afterwards?
No, I share afterwards.
Yeah.
I have it, yeah.
So we will send out the presentation, and we will also share with you how many women, how many men. I think it also depends on the region, because I looked, I think that Ahmad has a huge network behind him of men in Arab states. So when you look at the platform itself, and you look at who's from Egypt on our platform, actually they are mostly men. So there's a huge interest, and we have somebody very excited now with the I Am Woman campaign in Morocco, and he's going to rally people in Arab states to contribute to the I Am Woman campaign. So there are a lot of men, and but Eduardo will send you the exact figures afterwards together with the presentation. Do we have any other questions before we close? Any other comments? So there's actually a comment here to Diana. What do you feel connects people the most when engaging them on social media? What do you feel connects people the most when engaging them on social media? I mean, I'll give Diana a minute to think, but I think that when there is a message that people can relate to, and that they feel very strongly that, yes, I totally agree, you read it, the message, and you say retweet because you really like the message. Or it could be image, or it could be a video. But maybe I now stole your idea. So.
No, I think I agree with Anna in the things that you need to relate to the message. For example, today's story on I Am Woman is about a young woman, Marsama. She was fortunate enough to have a family and a mom who understand that education is important for success. Education is important in order to be empowered. So all of her mom didn't have access to education, and during school time, only the boys in her family, went to school. Father down, when she was a little bit older, her mom found that money, found that financial support and that opportunity to help her and get education. So she says, I'm so happy and thankful to my mom that I got this education, because now I am an empowered woman, and my boy, my son, will be proud of me, and I could share this and leverage throughout generation. So I think people who have been in a similar situation or know similar stories, they are very, very, very touched by the message. They share, they retweet, and they engaged. And also, if they know during, the time period of some event that in their network, somebody is interested in that event, in that opportunity, in that toolkit. So if I know, for example, Mary wants to attend this event, why not to share? Why not to tell Mary about this opportunity so she can get advantage about this? So situations are different. It's important so we can cover them, and this is why we invite you all to join us on Empowerment@Work and on Empowerment social media.
Thank you, Diana. Do you have any additional comments, Sandra, Ahmad?
Yes, I want to take this opportunity to mention that we will be launching a carnival campaign from the Brazil UN Women Office, and you are welcome to help us tweet and retweet. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. Ahmad, anything else?
Yeah, maybe I'm just want to add that people just stay tuned for the International Women's Day. and be a really great advocate for the activities around that time, any topics that they feel that you want support, or they can also join forces with us through our social media and activities that is organized in their countries or in the region or all over the world.
Great. Yeah, and there's some echo. Can you mute, please? Thank you. We saw that the internationalwomensday.org has selected purple as the color for the campaign of International Women's Day, which is also our color. So we will purple the world. So thank you so much. If there's no other questions, I see there's a lot of enthusiasm, and we are very, very excited to be working with you. And we will be in touch with you also further down the line. But we are now starting the rally, and we'll start looking at your profile. As Eduardo was saying, we are checking what you're doing, and by the 9th of March, we will announce the final 2015 champions of Empower Women. Thank you so much. Okay, sorry, there's one final question. How do you check if people have joined through the invitation? There will be a system further down the line through, you can invite friends through Facebook, but until then, please share with your regional coordinator who are the people that you have invited, and you can show their profiles and send it to the regional coordinator so they know who they are. And the presentation will be sent to you very soon. And we'll be in touch on all the other details. We'll look and see if we missed any comments, and we'll respond to them by email. So I thank everyone. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Ahmad, for joining, Diana and Eduardo. And we're very excited to move on the rally months and then to be working very closely with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna.